All right, Miles, let's talk about the Detroit Lions here for a little bit. They find themselves in the news once again for a lot of the right reasons. And look, we really like to talk about the Lions on this channel because the Lions, at least over the past couple of years, have done a lot of really smart moves. They do an outstanding job juggling both the short term and the long term. And we've got another report out of Detroit that highlights exactly what the Lions are thinking. I think this is a great sign for Detroit going forward.
Yeah, Nick, I think the Lions have done a masterful job. Whether it's planning this rebuild that they've been working on for the last few years, bringing from one of the bottom teams in the NFL to one of the most competitive teams, almost breaking through to playoffs last year. This is a Detroit Lions team that I think is on the rise and looks very, very good for a number of moves. But they also have a lot of young players who quite haven't, made it over the line yet. They're on the precipice of everybody recognizing them. That's why I want to ask the Lions fans in the comments below today, who is your breakout candidate for this season for the Detroit Lions? Who's the guy that's right on the edge, as we said, who's ready to break out and you think this is going to be their year? Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, let's get on into it. What is this good news about the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, so if we turn the clock back a little bit to the NFL draft, the third round, the Lions, of course, obviously selected out of the University of Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker. And we're starting to see a lot of great developments involving Hooker already with the Detroit Lions and the impact he will have and the opportunities he will have in a number of roles, both in 2023 and likely beyond. This report's from Fan Nation. Miles, if you can throw it up, I will read from it. All right. Despite undergoing rehab for his ACL injury, Hooker is impressing both coaches and teammates during the Lions OTAs. Despite the limitations of his injury, Hooker is showcasing excellent arm strength, accuracy, and decision-making on the field. His performance is a testament to his dedication and relentless work ethic during recovery. With the uncertainty surrounding the Lions' future quarterback situation, I'll get to that in a second, Hooker's standout performances in OTAs bring hope to the team and its fans, His ability to make accurate throws and showcase mobility even during rehab demonstrates his potential. Hooker's emergence could provide much-needed depth and competition at the quarterback position, pushing the entire unit to excel. Beyond his on-field performance, Hooker's presence and positive attitude during OTAs have had a significant impact on the team. Despite facing adversity with his injury, his determination and resilience have inspired his teammates, fostering a competitive and motivated environment within the Lions organization. Hooker was a great leader at Tennessee. Not surprised that he's continuing that with Detroit. All right, I've got two thoughts on this, Miles, and I'll throw it over to you. I think the first thing to understand, look, Lions fans, you're hearing the news, you're hearing the hype. We see you guys in the comments. You guys are going to be much better next season. You're likely going to be a playoff contender. But there is a difference between being a playoff contender and actually getting into the playoffs. And the difference can be how good your backup quarterback is. It just happens in football, right? Your quarterback goes down for a game or two. If you're able to steal a win with your backup quarterback, that obviously is huge. Because look, we see it all the time in the NFL. The New England Patriots last season just missed out on the playoffs. The New York Jets, same thing. They both had quarterback issues. They both finished with winning records, decent seasons. So I think the Patriots were 8-9. I think they're other side of the winning record, but they're right in the thick of it. They missed the playoffs again because they had a few games where they had to go with the backup quarterback, and not everything worked out. The one exception, of course, was the Lions game, but we won't bring up that one. But I want to talk also about the long term, right? So in the short term, this gives them quality depth. So if they make a playoff push and Goff gets hurt, which he has missed a few games with Detroit, and he missed a few games with the Los Angeles Rams as well. If he does get hurt, you have a quality backup that can step in and run the offense at a high level and steal you a few games, and you don't lose that playoff seeding. So from the short term, that's big. But focusing on the long term for a second, I know a lot of you guys are going to sit there and say, hey, look, are you going to attack Jared Goff here? And I understand you guys like Goff. Goff is good. He's not great. We don't know what he can be in terms of the peak of his potential. Talk about Hendon Hooker. There is a chance Hendon Hooker is special. The Chiefs had a good quarterback in Alex Smith. We all saw how Patrick Mahomes worked out. Not saying Hooker is Patrick Mahomes, but there will be an opportunity to make this decision in terms of going forward for the future quarterback, the Detroit Lions, after the 2023 season. Because going into next spring, the Lions can move off of Jared Goff and free up $27 million of cap space. That's a lot of elite level talent you can add on to the roster next offseason if Hooker is good, if not even better than Jared Goff. I think the fact that the Lions have set themselves up both to have quality short-term depth as they look to make a playoff push this season and have an opportunity for the long term to have a stable salary cap situation at the quarterback position, I think is huge for Detroit. And it's a credit to Holmes and company for how they structured this roster. But Miles, I've said enough. I'm going to throw it over to you in a second. But before I do, I want to remind everyone to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear word from our partner in today's video. And that, of course, is Neuro. Neuro has a lot of great products that give you a fast and easy boost of energy. We love to take their mints before the show. It gives us a spike of energy we need to talk about the Detroit Lions. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more about Neuro and, most importantly, to get access to our special discount code. All right, Miles, I'll throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on Hendon Hooker and everything with the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, Nick. So let's go and take a deep look at the Lions offense really fast. When you look at it at the core, you talk about this is an offense last year that did really well. I think they ended up grading out to be top 10, eighth overall in offensive category per PFF. So that's very good. But when you pick apart the certain pieces of this offense, they had pretty good running backs. They had good wide receivers, believe it or not. St. Brown, number 2 wide receiver in the grade per PFF grades, grade out of 90.7 last season. Very good grade for him. One of the best offensive lines in all of football. But, Nick, despite all of these things, Jared Goff only grades out 20th out of 39 potential quarterbacks in the NFL. He had a lot of great pieces. He didn't have quite all of the pieces the Lions had. Jamison Williams is now in the fold. You have Gibbs now in the fold. Laporta. There's another offensive lineman to make the line even better. Now, but what I'm saying is Goff had a lot to work with offensively last year. We all know the defense was the issue, at least at the beginning of the year for the Lions. The offense was not the issue. But despite those factors, Goff was mediocre at best if you look at the grades throughout the season, with having a very good supporting cast. And that is where your point comes in here, Nick. If Goff was at a mediocre quarterback salary, that would be different. But as you said, they'll save $27 million moving off of him in the next season if they decide to do so. And that is all dependent on how Hendon Hooker looks. But all reports are showing, he's looking good. Great arm strength in practice. He is very high-level thinker, elite-level player in college. This is a guy that has all of the potential in the world to be very, very, very good for this Lions team. So I think if he can prove himself and we see him work himself into this starting lineup somewhere during the Lions season this year, this could be a very good move for the Lions to take them from good playoff contender to great championship Super Bowl style contender, because you can add a lot of quality players on this team for $27 million next year. I think that's where your head has to be at when you're realistically looking at this Lions team. Yes, Goff is good, but I don't think he will ever be great. He could prove me wrong, and I would be happy if he did, but I do not think that he is going to be the future Super Bowl answer for the Detroit Lions.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner in today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.